Kevin Durant. You know who I am.
Curry, way downtown. Bang! Up for the layup. Oh, blocked by James. Is this the dagger? Davis 4-3 in the win. Oh, it's good.
Enough Steph slander, enough Steph hype. Talk moves to Lavine. What exactly is his type? Some game winners go in and some of them rim out. Some games are boring, but some of them make us shout.
Wow.
On the amazing #BallIsBay NBA podcast, your favorite NBA podcast in Indian accent. If this is your first episode, please do consider subscribing. It'll be there somewhere to us on YouTube, following us on our social media handles, which will be in description, and podcast platforms, which if you listen to podcasts, then there'll be a plus button somewhere.
We're also the number 3 podcast. You should say that.
But we were that last time. No, I don't think we are still.
Every time.
Okay. You're not supposed to open your mouth now. Okay. This week in the National Basketball Association, Shaq called out yet another big man for making money he thinks he should have made. And Steven Adams returns to OKC and makes it rain in faraway Kerala in a quaint corner. Speaking of centers, I've got with me, as always, someone who believes a center is the most important part of a circle. Someone who has forgotten what rains look like, and someone who's currently going through his yearly homesickness routine. My co-host, Vineet Devaya. Vineet, I hope some of those are facts and not fiction.
Most of them are facts. What's this? What I don't know. What is the second one was? I couldn't hear it properly.
Second one was that you've forgotten what rains look like. Does it rain in Luxembourg?
Yeah, no, it doesn't rain. I mean, it's not the monsoon kind of rain. It's just like it's a constant drizzle of water, if you may.
Constant drizzle of water. That's a drizzle. That's not rain. But yeah.
Yeah, it's just drizzling. It never pours like it does in in India.
Got it. It started raining suddenly here in Kerala, and yeah, I mean,
good. We need rain. We need rain. We need water for this world. It's true, man. We need. We're running out of water in the world, especially places like Bangalore.
Bangalore though is gone, but I heard it's raining in Bangalore also. But anyways, we will get right to the point of this pod, and first I want to let Vineet talk about his newest pet project, which I'm really excited about, because that means that I'll be able to watch more of the games of these so-called scrub teams. Vineet, please take it over. Let us know about Project Scrubs. Is that the name?
Well, I mean, I am thinking of doing not a project, but a new segment within the Ball is Bay thing called The Others. And the idea is to do an in-depth analysis. By in-depth, I mean, as much as I can possibly do at the start or the beginning of the season. So for all the teams that are not in the top 10. So I think we did a podcast, our first podcast with the top 10 teams for 2021, the season. And so I feel like a lot of these other teams that are quite good, but not yet there, not yet, fun, need some love. And the idea of this podcast, of this segment, came from the fact that nobody's talking about the Spurs anymore.
Okay. So this is just a way for you to talk about the Spurs.
It's just a way for me to talk about the Spurs and give them some love. And say, hey, you know what? You may be a shitty team, but we at Ball is Bay will give you some love, and we will.
Yo, they beat the Clippers. Was that today? I think they beat the Clippers today.
Yesterday, yeah. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think this what has happened with the NBA right now, and this is something I'll talk about in that segment, is that offense has become such an important part, and 3-pointers have become such a easy target, staple, that any team has the ability to beat another team, if it's their day, which was not there before, because that 3-pointer kind of really shifts everything dramatically. So like even a team like Atlanta Hawks, which is a good team on paper, but they shoot so many threes, and you got Trae Young running the offense, and that makes a huge difference in terms of those small little things, tweaks. So that's what the segment is about. My goal is to initially I was going to do this before the season starts, But
the
then
idea
I
came to
realized-
you just
Yeah.
5 days before the season started.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's a little
yeah. But
difficult.
then I kind of wrote down the whole, what I'm going to do, and
Flow. Yeah.
the flow. And then I just realized, what, there's no point of me doing this without actually watching some games and watching how they play, because that's where you will actually see the players and you'll see them, do what they want. And then you can kind of talk about what they are doing and what they will do and what their future is. So that's the segment. I mean, hopefully it'll show up soon. And the plan is there, and I'm going to record everything in probably a day or two. And then we'll probably release it maybe 2 a week, I think.
Yeah. I think the idea sort of gained a little more strength in your head, but once you realize that there are fans in India who support a Sacramento Kings, or an Atlanta Hawks,
Timberwolves. Shout out to that
Timberwolves.
guy. I forgot his name, but shout out to that dude.
Shaurya, I think Shaurya.
Yeah. And
if you're listening, then absolutely, it's a shout out to you for giving us that little bit of.
Yeah, and then I just thought, okay, you know what, it would be cool to get some of the fans on, because like I'm a Spurs fan, I know what the Spurs are doing more than maybe Ashwin does, and Ashwin probably knows. Ashwin is a fan of no team.
Okay, though, but not really.
It's over. It's over. You don't know. Do you know what Houston is doing anymore? No. Do you know what Wizards are doing anymore?
Yes, Wizards. Wizards are doing.
Name 5 players on the Wizards.
That's pretty easy, man. Russell Westbrook, Bradley Beal, Thomas Bryant. What is that guy's name? David Bertans and Roy Hachimura. That's 5 right there.
But they're not even the starting 5.
Are they not? I think Bertans starts. Yeah, I think more. There are 4 or 5 of the starters are there.
3. You have 3 of the 5 starters. But anyway, the point being that we had a fan who was a Timberwolves fan.
Wait a minute. Please tell me Spurs starting 5, Vineet. Spurs.
Listen, this segment is about you. It's not. No, the problem with the Spurs is they don't have a starting 5. They randomly keep changing everybody, and then
have you considered running for election? So I think in India the elections are coming. With your shifty answers, I think we can definitely find a seat in the Coorg district of Karnataka.
No, because Derek White got injured, and so because of that, they're just moving in the guards in and out. I mean, the staples are obviously DeMar DeRozan, DeJounte Murray. These are the staple guys who start, but the rest are just moving in and out.
Okay.
And Jakob Poeltl. These are the 3 staples. These are the 3.
How is Jakob?
It is. He's the third
Patty
guy.
Mills isn't Patty Mills the staple? Isn't he starting?
No, but he's not a starter. Patty Mills comes off the bench.
Oh, okay.
So the starters is that this other new dude has come up, this rookie who
Lonnie Walker, not Lonnie.
Lonnie Walker is there, but he doesn't start sometimes. It's just the Spurs doing what Spurs do, which is like run a bunch of lineups all the time.
We will talk about the Spurs. I mean, not really the Spurs, but something about the Spurs in a while. But so like you said, the idea is I'm trying to figure out, is the idea to talk about how they play the games, or who are the stars in these unfound coordinates?
Yeah. Right. So I think I have broken down each segment into like a couple of things, which is like, who their MVP is, what is their style of play, what are they going to do this, because they're obviously not winning the, they're not winning the championship. So what is their goal, and what can they do for the next 5 years? So that's kind of like the analysis.
That's a lot of analysis. I'm very excited to watch this. If you guys are excited to watch this, please let us know in the comments, because then I can ask Vineet to hurry up with this whole project. Speaking of the Spurs, we'll take a break from your side project. It's not a side project, but whatever. We'll take a break from that, and Becky Hammond becoming the first coach for an NBA team. I mean, I am really surprised that this had not happened before, because it's quite unlike Pop to not have gotten ejected for like over 2 years. It makes it's a little weird that this is the first time that Becky Hammond is.
Well, he didn't have to get angry for there's nothing to get angry. It's a shitty team. The team is going to play shit. What to be angry about? Before, like every year they would go be championship team, so you could be angry. that something is not working the way you had planned. But now, if something's not working, it's because I have shitty players. So
Yeah. And any thoughts about women coaches in the NBA? I mean, I think.
I think that if they are good, they'll do well.
But what about this? Let me ask you something. I mean, I hope it's not controversial, but is there like men, like professional men, because men, you feel they feel comfortable taking orders from, I mean, taking coaching orders from a woman? Or has Pop, I mean, because the Spurs team is not like any other team. Like they identify people who have the team ethos. They have we will follow the leader, whatever it is. So you think there's going to be any sort of friction there?
I mean, I think it'll be very. I think
Friction.
it's almost impossible to replace a coach of the stature of Pop, whether it's man or woman or player, non-player. It doesn't really matter. He's
fair point.
He'll go down as one of the top 5 coaches all time. And so and also the team is in shambles, right? So if there was maybe like a leader on the team, I think it would have been easier for a new coach, man or woman, to come in and kind of they kind of leading the whole organization. But right now, I don't know if DeRozan is the leader on the team because LaMarcus is out. Maybe it's Patty Mills. I don't know who is the leader on the team side. And so I don't think that it matters. I don't think it should matter. But as we know that men do struggle to take directions from women. So not in personal lives. In personal life, men always take directions from women, but in a professional setting.
Yeah, I mean, I think what is most important there is like the Spurs face and the Popovich face. Ever since Duncan left, like it's just the same thing, right? Like the Spurs became Spurs since Popovich has come. So we don't know a Spurs without Coach Pop. We don't know a Spurs where Pop takes him out for wine. He personally he has faith in certain people who other people would have just been like, no, we don't really believe in your style. He's had faith in a lot of people. And apart from Kawhi Leonard's episode, most people have reposed the faith that they've had in him. So when a new coach comes, it's like the franchise now has a new face, right? Like it has a new direction. It has a new thinking capacity. It thinks in a certain way. It acts in a certain way, does some things. And like you said,
But also, I mean, I don't think Pop has left yet. So it was just
he's not left, but I would assume that I'm not sure if he has that much fun. Like, do you think he has so much fun losing more games than they win? Like last season was the first time. But I mean, someone who has so much pride, I'm sure he's like, I don't know what if there's any.
Well, I think I feel like people who are competitive, they always want to find a reason to be competitive. It's just like like Michael Jordan's whole documentary was like he just found ways to motivate himself. So I think I think Pop is a very competitive person. And so he is going to find a reason to come and coach every day, which is like, okay, you know what? People always like, there's always this debate whether Tim made Pop or Pop made Tim, right? There's always this underlying kind of current whenever they talk about Tim Duncan and the Spurs is that, oh, it's because of the organization, and then vice versa. Everyone says, so I think he wants to show that, okay, I can take this really crappy team to the playoffs. It's just the way Steph has to take this crappy team to the playoffs. Like it's just something that they have to do it for themselves. So I think he's more. I do think he's motivated. I also feel like he's too old. So that could also be an issue where I think he lost his wife, right?
Yeah, last year.
Yeah, so those are things that like if in a span of 3 years he lost Tim, Manu, Tony, and his wife, all integral parts of his life for the last 20 odd years. So it is tough for him to come back, but I think he will. I mean, but I obviously the Spurs are rebuilding from the ground up. Their front office is completely.
Wouldn't it be easier? I mean, like you have an organization, right? Like so this again, whenever we talk about Spurs, we talk about that article that you written about, I think it was in Medium, right, about Teleport Me being built the same way as the Spurs was built. So Now, if they are just saying, fuck it, let's just rebuild, would it be better for them to say like, let's just rebuild completely, let Pop part ways? Or do you think Pop is saying that, no, I want to stay here, and like, what do
No,
you, what do you think
no,
that place is?
I don't think that should be. I think there always has to be continuity, and that's always been the Spurs thing, right? They never abruptly, like didn't abruptly ask David Robinson to leave. They didn't really ask Tim Duncan to leave. Tim Duncan stayed, coached, got LaMarcus into the system. Did whatever he could do to get him there. It's just that LaMarcus was dominant, when he was in Portland, but then for some weird reason he did not fill the big shoes of Tim Duncan. And then Kawhi's saga happened, and so that again kind of, so yeah, I mean, I don't think it should be abrupt. I think that Pop should stay till they find the next coach, train the coach. I'm pretty sure that one of the assistant coaches is going to become the coach. It could be Becky, it could be Tim. I think the other two front runners. I would love to see Tim Duncan as a coach. Why not?
Talking about greatness, we had one little saga, little drama on Instagram drama. And I love how drama has moved on from Twitter to Instagram, which is nice. It's nice to see pictures during drama. Shaq and Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert, as we all know, signed a massive 5-year, $205 million contract. And Shaq said, like, it's great that, if you can tell people that if you score 11 points, you can make $205 million in the NBA. It's just classic Shaq stuff. But I'll ask you this first, then I'll give you my thoughts on it. Or no, this time
you give your thoughts.
I'll give my thoughts on it. So, I mean, my feelings is Shaq has always been like, like if you watch him on Inside the NBA or any other place, he's always like, they are taking the big man out of the game. The All-Star game doesn't have a central position anymore. The All-Star game doesn't, nobody gives a shit about centers anymore. All they do is take the ball, pick and roll, pass the ball out, get rebounds. There's no dominant center. Like, I was the last dominant center, blah, blah, blah. And when a dominant center like Rudy Gobert, we'll talk about his dominance in a different way, but still dominant center gets bank, makes $205 million, crazy 40-year. I think it's overpriced, but still it makes it. It just feels.
Yeah, I mean, the teams have to pay somebody, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like, otherwise somebody will take him off their books because he might believe that he is worth that, but somebody he comes along, gets way, and Shaq, I think in his head he's just like, if he can make 205 million, then I should have been able to make so much more money, which is like a very old person boomer hating on the new kinds of thing. I do believe that there should be a certain percentage, like all the money that they are making, it is definitely in part to, previous generations building up the brand, because now I personally feel that there's a lot of overpaid players in the NBA, but somebody has to get paid. So it will be there. When Shaq got paid money, it's just sad that Shaq was properly valued, and I feel Rudy Gobert is overvalued, which is just the difference in the like the amount of dollars that the NBA brings in. And I think it's a little unfair to Rudy Gobert because, if he had not gotten that money, he would have got some money somewhere, and it would still have been, he would have still made bank. So it's a Utah Jazz took the call, and I feel it's fair that, in this day and age, that they make so much money. Now, if you're comparing it to previous age, maybe it's unfair, but I don't think it's a fair comparison. What do you feel, Vineet?
I mean, Shaq is just stirring drama because the games are so boring, right? I mean, it's first 2 weeks, 3 weeks are obviously like the games are bad, like everyone's like there are weird upsets and all that stuff. So I think it's just creating drama, and I think that he has picked fights with other centers. Like he talked about Cat in a bad way. He talked about Gobert and
Dwight Howard, the famous Dwight Howard, yes.
Yeah, and I think he is right. I mean, he's probably the only person who has because when he was coming up, right, like people made fun of him. Wilt Chamberlain. Like there is a video of Wilt and Russell when they ask him what to think of Shaq, and they're like, I mean, Shaq. Yeah, like So they always gave him shit, right? It wasn't like Shaq came in and Shaq was like, yes, Shaq was Shaq. You know, he got premium dollars, but the centers of the previous generation were like, yeah, we would just make Shaq run up and down. Have you seen that video?
Yeah, I've seen the video where they're
Yeah,
like,
so
Shaq. Yeah, I would drop easy on him. Yeah.
Yeah, Wilt was like, yeah, I would just like manhandle Shaq, right?
Exactly.
And the only person who could ever say that would probably be Wilt, right? And they didn't give him the respect, and he had to earn his respect because I remember when they launched that 50 greatest player of all time, I think.
Yeah. He was
97?
97,
right? And he was there. I mean, and he was what, 4 years into the league at that point. And I think everybody felt everybody felt like this guy doesn't deserve to be here.
Absolutely.
Right. And so Shaq has been on that other side where he got absolutely destroyed by the people that he looked up to and the people he thought were great. I'm sure Kareem has said something nasty about Shaq. He has said nasty about everybody.
There's a story about on Shaq's 26th birthday or something. They were playing the Clippers. I mean, when he was playing for the Lakers, he was playing the Clippers, and Kareem was teaching the opposite center on how to defend Shaq. And Shaq saw this, and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna drop." And then he dropped 61 points on that team.
Yeah, so I think Shaq's trying to do that, in my opinion. I think he's just like, he really wants to see another dominant center, right? Yeah. Because obviously you had Dwight Howard, who was a dominant center, but not the way Shaq was, right? And so,
I mean, he was dominant as hell. He just couldn't win that ring. Like, he didn't have anyone else on his team to,
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying that he wasn't like offensively dominant. He was dominant on the defensive side, and he was, I would say, moderately. So I think that he's just trying to get these guys to like level up, right? And make the center position.
Let me ask you this, right? Like, there are different ways to affect a basketball game. You can affect it on the offensive end, you can affect it on the defensive end, you can affect it on the leadership end, perhaps. But in today's game, you have to be like, you have to at least like get 25 points to be considered defensive. I mean, the Rudy Gobert defensive player of the year, all that is fine, but he has not managed to scare any of these big teams. Like they routinely get beaten by the Rockets or the Warriors, or like his great starts are just regular season starts. So do you feel what do you feel about the overpaid thing? What do you feel about him?
Do I feel Rudy Gobert is overpaid? Is that the question?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely, he's overpaid. Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt about it. But he's not overpaid by that much, right? Like De'Aaron Fox got 190 million, like Jason Tatum got 190 million. This guy got 205. So it's like a 15 million difference in 5 years. So it's not a massive overpaying. It's just that, Utah just had to pay somebody because they already paid Donovan Mitchell 190, and they had another supermax to give. Who do they give it to? There's only Rudy Gobert left, right? And so they gave it to him. And I mean, it's just the way the business is. You got to pay somebody, and so they paid these guys. That's it. And I don't feel like
if we had to say that, who's the most dominant center, I mean, that position doesn't make much sense anymore. But
Nikola
Jokic.
Yeah,
so that's the guy who affects the game the most in its current state. Like,
easy. I mean, you can't leave Nikola Jokic on the 3-point line. You can't leave him in the 2-point line. You can't leave him under the basket. You can't leave him open, because once he gets the ball, he's either going to make a great pass or he's going to shoot over your head. You're not going to stop his shot. He's shooting at a 60% rate, right? His field goal percentage is about 60, right? And this is including 3-pointers. So, I mean, what are you going to do with that? It's just like, I mean, some people may say, maybe AD or Giannis, but you can put Giannis on the 3-point line and he's ineffective. You can stop his roll. He's not going to, his spin move or whatever. So with Jokic, what are you going to do with the guy? How are you going to stop Jokic? If you had to like come up with a strategy, you can't.
Yeah, you just stay right next to him. And I guess that's the definition of like, what is it? Dominance, right? Like, you can't ignore this guy. You have to pay attention to him all the time.
You have to, yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Okay. Um, our next topic is like we are scaling down. We are coming down to our. Uh, is he a forward? Is he a guard? I think Zach Lavine is a guard. We're going to talk about Zach Lavine. He hit one cold ass game winner against the Portland Trail Blazers. Uh, there are talks about rescuing him from the Chicago Bulls, taking him to a better team, and all of that. And I have not seen a single Zach Lavine game this season, but I'd seen a few games when he was playing the Rockets and when he was playing other teams last year. What do you feel about his game, Vineet? What do you feel that he needs to be on a better team, and that team will actually prosper with his presence?
I mean, I haven't seen. I mean, I know who you're talking about. I also seen some posts, but I really don't know, man. I mean, it's a 30 team league, right?
Yeah.
And Zach Lavine is what, a top 35, top 40 player, right? And if you look at the top 15 people, like, most of them are playing with each other, and so you are going to have some teams that are going to have players like Zach Lavine who are, who are just
somebody has to score the points.
Somebody has to score the points, right? Like, it's like Terry Rozier on Charlotte Hornets. Like, okay, sure. Like, I mean, it's just like, give me a championship team that Zach Lavine could be the best player on. I don't think that exists.
I don't think so. No, that's not.
I would also argue there's probably not even, he couldn't even be the second option. I can't even think of a team where he could be a second option. Right now, I'm saying, like, would you go to the Lakers and be the second option? No. Would you go to the Clippers and be the second option? No. Would you go to the Nuggets and be the second?
What about the Warriors?
Nuggets, but Warriors is not a championship team, right?
But okay, so you're saying even with him, and like if they throw away Kelly Oubre and then they get
it's
Zach
not.
Lavine.
Yeah, like, Zach Lavine may be the third best player on the Sixers. Maybe he could be the third best player on the Bucks.
Rockets.
Or maybe
Bucks. Yeah, Bucks. Bucks.
No, I mean, dude.
Because he's a good 3-point shooter. He can
as bad as Chris Middleton is. Chris Middleton is a solid 20-point. He'll get you 20 points. He'll get it to you efficiently.
Absolutely.
He's not your best first player, but he's a very solid second player and an overachieving third player, right? And Drew Holiday is really, really good. He's really, 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 really good. So I mean, I would, if Zach Lavine goes to the Bucks, he's probably, maybe he and Drew, you could maybe make an argument, but Drew does so much more other things. So I just, I would just say that he is a good player. He's a top 35, maybe 40 player in the league, and he's doing what he would do if you're on a shitty team, score a lot of money. Great players take shitty teams to the playoffs.
He's not a great player. I don't think anybody. So we never said he's a great player.
Yeah, but the point is, and why does he need rescuing, right? Like, he's beasting on the lack of talent on the Chicago Bulls. He doesn't need rescuing. He's doing what he can, and he just needs to. If he wants to go win championships, you go join a championship team, take less salary, take a lesser role, which he won't do. So
fair enough, I think.
Yeah, I mean, what else is the thing? There's no rescuing. It's not like he's stuck there. He can always ask for a trade, but the point is, no one's going to trade for him.
I think if the Suns get him, I think that'll be a very nice trade also.
No,
but then again, I think they're all like really ball heavy dominant. So you can't have too many ball dominant players in that team. And I think right now the Suns. I watched their games against the Mavericks. Was it? No, not the Mavericks. The buzzer beater one. No, against your Nuggets. Oh yeah, I saw the game against the Nuggets, and I think this Devin Booker CP3 thing is like a pretty nice little time. I'm having very good time watching
CP3. I was actually today I was sitting and trying to figure out who are the top, because I was watching some video about like something, and I was thinking, okay, who are the best players post 2000?
Post 2000 or 2010.
2000. Because I was trying to see like if there are any of the any of the young guns except for LeBron would break into the top 5, right? But no, the answer is no. Because I thought maybe like Steph could have, but no, I just decided no. And then CP3 was like maybe 11 or 12 for me. Like he's done well.
He's done pretty well. I mean, lack of championships apart, he's at
He's like
least
a
got
Karl Malone. They're
respect.
good. They're very, very good. They're very consistent. They do what they want to do. They just had either bad luck, one or two, dribbles. I don't know. It's just like with CP3, it's just, he's had such bad luck, and, Kawhi had great luck. The ball went in. If it was CP3, the ball would have gone out, that's the difference, with Kawhi, like as much as I love Kawhi, I don't think he's in the top 10, of the
What is this top 10? Oh, of the 2000s.
Yeah.
You mean 2000 till now?
2000 till now, yeah. Like the last 20 years. I was just thinking like as since I've been a fan, who are the top 20 players, top 10 players.
Okay. Speaking of the Sixers.
we didn't talk about
segues did not really make sense. Anyway, speaking of the Sixers, top team in the East, a little too early, but anyway, like I am really having fun with this whole, Seth Curry, Danny Green.
Yeah. Danny Green, huh? There was this meme about our Danny Green. They say like, it was a video where it's like, I have no idea why, like the Lakers let go of Danny Green. Danny Green is doing amazing. Like he's continuing his championship form in the Sixers, and it's just like Danny Green bricking. One after the other. Poor Danny Green, man. I mean, he deserves it because he has been bricking the last, with the Lakers. So can't really blame the memes.
But he single-handedly gave Toronto the championship by breaking a Clay's ACL. So it's a joke, Danny Green. It's a joke. We know that you didn't want to do it, but I mean,
it was basically accidental after what they did to Kawhi.
Shit! I'm so sorry, Clay. No worries. Anyway, it's not funny when we joke about players' injuries. I mean, but 76ers, Embiid doing his thing, Simmons doing his thing. The talk of the James Harden trade, but I'm kind of lukewarm on that. I think James Harden is like Houston strip clubs are the best strip clubs. I'm not going to Philly for that. What are your eye tests telling you about the 76ers beneath?
Yeah, I mean, I watched a couple of games, and I think what they have done really with getting the shooters in is like, and basically letting two things. One is making Tobias Harris more potent. Tobias Harris has been playing really, really good, and his market value went up when he was coached under Doc Rivers in the Clippers team. Yeah. And I guess there is something that Doc knows about how Tobias wants to play, that like it's a good fit. And I think this whole Sixers unlocking this, this Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons issue, I think they did that by just kind of opening up the floor and giving more touches to other players. And I think if you look at Embiid, he's not scoring as high as he used to. He's usually around the 28, 29, but he's not scoring that much. And the others are picking up the slack, and Ben Simmons is being empowered to run the floor, and he's buying into that system. So I think that we always had this thing where the Sixers were, and I think I picked them also last year, right? Was it
You've
last
been picking
year?
them for the last 2 years now.
2 years, yeah, because
just to come out of the East.
Yeah, but for whatever reason, Embiid just gives up, and everybody used to say it was always like the coach, they never bought into the Brett Brown, right?
Brett Brown, yeah.
Brett Brown, okay. His system and his philosophy, they just never bought into it. And I think that with Doc Rivers, you can see that they're buying into the system. They can see that, okay, if you play this way, it unlocks the potential for Ben Simmons, because Ben Simmons was the guy who has this outwardly talent, but was always stuck with just this massive 7-footer in the middle of the half court, right? And so I think they're coming up with some good players, and I think they're going to probably come out top in the East unless
Brooklyn has something to say about it.
Yeah, Brooklyn has something to say, and like the Bucks, I think have like cooled down a little bit. Like they're not forcing the issue. They're being a little bit more. Like the problem with the Bucks is that they should just dominate the regular season. They would want to win every game, but they would not like practice, like making Giannis play a lot. Yeah, making Giannis play a lot of minutes, making Chris Middleton play like basically running those sets. They would never do that. And I think the 3 games that I watched of theirs, they're playing more deliberate, more proper sets, even if it's not working. They keep doing it again and again, and I think eventually they lose a lot of games in the regular season because it's not here Giannis go score 40 points and win us the game. It's more like, okay, we are going to play this way because in the playoffs Giannis won't be able to do this thing that he can do right now, and let's practice that part.
Okay, so I mean that's a fair point. I've not seen. I think I saw bits of the Detroit game where Giannis scored 43 points, but
I mean that's Detroit. I mean, I'm very disappointed with Detroit, by the way. Derrick Rose, what's up? I thought the Detroit Pistons had a good team. If you see their team, right? If you just read the player names, it looks like a good team.
But yeah, I mean, I saw some nomination for Blake Griffin for worst starter of the year so far, and I'm like, Blake Griffin, top 5 2020 candidate. I mean 2010, that decade candidate become it's a little disappointing. I think I'll be interesting to see how Detroit shows up in your analysis. I think I'm looking forward to that, even if no one else is. I'm really looking forward to that analysis. And I mean, Vineet, that's pretty much basically what has happened this week in the NBA. So yeah, Vineet, I mean, that's basically it for this week's events. Great. Our last episode was also very well received. I think people really loved the whole NBA Dab Pandeyji's appearance in there. Fun fact, like I had a fight with when I was a kid, I had a fight with someone whose name was Aditya Pandey. And he had jumped up and, he scratched me all over the neck. It was a cricketing incident, and it was, in retrospect, pretty funny. But this Aditya Pandey was...
Shout out to this other Aditya Pandey.
Shout out to this other Aditya Pandey. We haven't talked in a while, but he seems like a very nice kid now. So yeah, good luck to him, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, that's it, audience, please. We'll link episode 2 here somewhere. And if you want to catch us, obviously, please follow our Insta handle @BallIsBayPod, Twitter handle @BallIsBayPod. And you're watching it on YouTube anyway, so go on and subscribe. And other places also. Just search for Ball is Bay NBA podcast. Your favorite NBA podcast in Indian accent. All right, Vineet, please say bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everybody.